No, no.
Let me finish. If they turn it down, then there is a need for another ordinance perhaps. And I think that might be the time to look at having a committee if that's what we decide to do. But it's, you've got, what, 3 months right now. The moratorium won't go into effect if you have a moratorium until, what, a month or a month and a half or 2 months, whatever it takes to get a town meeting together and have that expense. We've heard that nothing is gonna happen on building anything out there. There's no permit that's gonna be going into effect or to be, applied for it, so why even have them? And I think if a committee is needed, the time would be after November when the town, if it doesn't accept the existing ordinance.
Would that be a selectman board agree to that? That if it's not, you go by the recommendations of a committee, it was stated that the selectmen will rewrite what's going on and change the ordinance once if it's denied, what's written.
Well, I think that's up to whoever is on the
Right.
selectmen. We're missing one person right now, so.
We said, and that was the ordinance, that if this ordinance that we put before the people is voted down, even if it's one vote, we will take the necessary steps to put an ordinance in that prevents windmills. And you said, the thing is, we have put before the public 2 different things that were anti-wind. They both were voted down. This is the first time that a pro-wind ordinance has been put before the people. And it can be voted down. And that's why we wanted to give them a chance to look at something pro.
I would like to ask the Board of Selectmen, how many signatures do I need before you listen to the voters of this town, residents? How many signatures will it take? Tell them, give me a number and I'll get them for you.
That isn't the question.
That is the question. We want fair representation in this town. That is the question.
Well,
Exactly why that petition was circulated.
we are representing them. There are more than 200 people in this town.
Yes,
We
there are. That's 20% of the last gubernatorial
Excuse me, but I'm
election.
talking. There are more than 200 people in this town, and we are representing all of them. We should be representing those who are for it and those who are against it.
Right.
And we tried to remain neutral. We figured that there's time to put a pro-wind ordinance before the people, let them make the choice. And if they make the choice, we have to live with it. We want to put windmills behind us, move on. We have a lot of things in this town, and that's why we put it forward. Okay.
The issue that we were on was the wind ordinance committee, correct? We didn't really have much
Yeah.
discussion amongst ourselves about developing a committee. I mean, we heard from Bob, who is putting his trust in the developer.
That's
No, he was saying that they said that they wouldn't
Okay, but
submit an
that's
application.
his opinion.
I'm just
All right.
reiterating what he said, that, and I didn't mean that way, I'm just saying that he said that he's saying that the developer has said they would do a certain thing. And I understand that the people that are on that petition don't feel that same way. So, the issue that we were talking about, though, wasn't necessarily the petition any longer. It was a wind ordinance committee, and whether or not we could establish one.
I guess
is my understanding.
I guess that would be a question for Gene. Can we establish a committee without a moratorium, by town rules? I'm not pro and negative on a committee, however.
Yeah, if the selectmen vote to establish an ad hoc committee, selectmen can vote to do that.
We're not gonna go with a moratorium, but if we sat here and voted to put 3 and 3 people together or whatever, and just let them work on something, and that way you've got both sides represented.
The reason I feel that we should have a wind ordinance committee, to develop a proper and a legal wind ordinance, is because the one that's currently proposed, the one that we have on the table now, that was amended, but for noise purposes, was created by 2 selectmen. So you had basically two people writing that ordinance. In that ordinance, I feel, after reading it, thoroughly, that it creates a zoning area for the in-town area. And the wording of that specifically states from the Webb River, which is far west, across to Route 2, but on the in-town side of it. And from the Androscoggin River all the way up to the Carthage-Dixfield town line. So if you can vision this, I don't have anything drawn, but it's a rectangle basically from the Androscoggin River to the Carthage town line with the Webb River and Route 2 as the boundary lines, where they can't build. It specifically states in the ordinance that they cannot build there. So you're restricting them or any other wind developer from coming in and putting any project up in that area. Having said that, there are two scenic resources in that area, Sugarloaf and Webb River Falls, that are protected, which they should be as in the comprehensive plan, but you've now forced, in that ordinance, because of the wording of that ordinance, you've forced the wind developer to building on one mountain range in Dixon, because it's the only one left. And if you look back in regards to Dixfield's comprehensive plan and the scenic resources, which are outlined in the current wind ordinance, the citizens voted back in November of 2010, I believe it was. Yeah, in November of 2010, actually the select board made a motion or a recommendation to remove Colonel Holman from the scenic resource section of the comprehensive plan. And I have concerns about that, why Webb River and Twin Mountain Sugarloaf wasn't just Colonel Holman. Regardless, it was sent to the town to vote on that, and the town voted 516 to 451 to leave Colonel Holman as a scenic resource. Now, if you read the ordinance that was put forward for us to review, that we're asking the town to vote on, it specifically states that the wind energy facility unit can't be built within 4,000 feet of any scenic resource as defined in Dixfield's comprehensive plan. So I feel that the ordinance we have right now, whether they have understood it correctly or not, he seemed to think that it was Holman Mountain that was a scenic resource, when in actuality it's Colonel Holman Mountain. The ordinance that we have right now prohibits Patriot Renewable or any other wind developer from developing anywhere in the town, because you've got a zoning section for the in-town area and Colonel Holman listed as a scenic resource in the comprehensive plan. So literally, if the town votes on that ordinance in November, we're back to the other situation that I argued so heavily about, that, you know, I said if we vote, we've got a yes vote, there's no choice. Right now, you'd have a no vote. Because if you vote on the Clark Donahue ordinance, it would restrict them from building on Colonel Holman or in town, in the in-town area, because of all the scenic resources. And if the town votes no, we're gonna write an even more restrictive ordinance. That's why I feel a wind committee should be put together, so that they can look at all of those aspects. We're all busy, there's 4 of us now. But I think it should be a panel of people who are pro-wind, anti-wind, neutral, unbiased, whatever. Whether it's 6 people or 10 people, I think that they would be able to come up with a more informed decision that obviously Gene would run through MMA for legal vetting when it was done. That's my reasoning behind it, because right now I think we're running into a problem with the way the ordinance is currently written. So that's, I just wanted to say that.
What I had an issue with after reading it, I hadn't read the Clark Donahue part until the last 2 days. And my issue with it is there's a lot of bias in it as far as locations and what is deemed a no-wind zone by just the way it's written in the triangle, like he said. So that, honestly, I've actually sent a thing in today to the MMA to ask a question on it and how to proceed with it, because I feel it is biased and it doesn't actually stand up. Whether it's gone to a lawyer before, then it was rewritten because of Patriots Renewable didn't understand, wanted clarification. Well, the clarification still hasn't been done, because in the process, we don't have a zoning committee in this town. We don't have zones, yet it creates a zones. And it's put forward for the people to vote on, but it's creating a zone and we don't have a zoning issue here. It eliminates building wind projects in that area, but nothing else. that, to me, is a bias against anything else going there. If it was gonna be an issue of not building anything and creating a no-win zone, which, you know, they didn't plan on building there anyway according to Tom Carroll, but it still creates a zone where there's not one needed.
But, and again, you're protecting a scenic resource in the
Right.
comprehensive plan,
Right.
and you're protecting it in the ordinance the way it's written, but you're saying that, you know, wind developer can actually build on Colonel Holman. Right now, the way it stands, it should be in violation of the ordinance.
Now we're getting redundant. Let's
Okay.
have a motion, please.
I would make a motion that, the board seriously, considers and allows the development of the wind ordinance committee for the town of Dixfield.
Can I add something to that? I'd like to see if even Patriots Mill will be interested in putting somebody in there to talk to about it. Why not have somebody pro-win on it, you know? And you guys can suggest anybody you want. I'd second the motion.
So what is the motion?
The motion is
The-
Are you
to establish
accepting
it.
Accept the,
The motion is to establish, allow the select board to establish a citizens-based wind ordinance committee. I guess as clear as I can say that.
Well, then you can't have, patriots because they're not a citizen.
Okay, take citizen out of that.
There you go.
They have
Take-
enough citizens on their side
Take
now,
that, yeah.
so.
So, then I make a motion for the select board to allow the development of a wind ordinance committee for the town of Dixfield.
I'll second.
okay, now who's gonna select the people that are on it?
I think it should be a discussion amongst us. I think we should, one,
I
send
guess
out.
we should have names,
well-
have
well,
people submit names that wanna be
What
on
what I
it.
would suggest is,
Yeah.
send up, put an ad in the paper saying, if you would like to be on, if you're, would like to be on a wind ordinance committee for the town of Dixfield,
And
please submit your name to the.
I'd like to add a decibel thing to that, have a decibel meter, so the first person that gets above a certain decibel is out of there. So there's
Yeah.
nobody screaming.
No yelling and hollering, that's
No
right.
screaming,
Yeah.
right.
And again, this is something that you wanna do before we have the vote in November.
Yes, because I feel that,
And again, I'm gonna say, I think it's muddy in the water.
well, I think the ordinance as it's written right now is illegal and improper.
I think we should be able to get a clarification of that between
Yeah.
now and then on
I'd go
the
for that.
current ordinance. If we had,
It's gone through legal review already, Bob, I guess we could make it go through again.
well, I don't mean a legal review, but the issue that was brought up here this afternoon, this evening.
The zoning and
on
the scenic
the
resources.
zoning
About
issue.
making a zone.
It's been so long since I've read it, I have
Yeah.
to refresh
Well,
myself.
I've gotta refresh myself.
Yeah, I really do.
Call
It's been a while since I've read it.
for the question.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? All right, old business, donation from